Now that we're done softening up the line with the one guard, we can move on. Now we're heading to the sides and we're going to continue to debulk and give them that flare shape and that nice taper blowout shape. I'm consistently using my clipper over comb to cut at an angle and making sure that it all blends in nice and neatly. Me debulking the sides here is going to make it easier for me to blend in so it's less overhang. I'm pretty much creating and preparing the silhouette before I start to cut into the taper. Now that we have a consistent base, we can move on to our gold FX and create our first guideline. We are making a high temple taper, so we want to make sure we cut near the temple. Now that we're done creating our first guideline, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. We're then going to slightly close the lever midway and all the way close and attack that initial guideline. Moving on to our clipper over comb method, before we use our one guard all the way open, we're going to go ahead and debulk and shape it up a little bit. Now we're moving on to our one guard all the way open and we're creating our third guideline. This guideline is going to help us connect with our 1.5 guard and our half guard. Now that we're done softening up the line with the one guard, we can move on to our half guard and erase the line completely. Make sure to use your corners and its lever. Also, don't be afraid to stretch the skin with your opposite hand. It is necessary to stretch the skin when fading, especially when you need to spread the blend. Now that we're done with the lower guards, we're moving on to our 2 guard all the way open and we're creating our fourth guideline. We are making sure I'm flicking out as much as possible, and also this is going to prepare us for our 1.5 guard. Before erasing the line completely with my 1.5 guard, I'm going to use my clipper over comb to begin to debulk and also make the fade as smooth as possible into the top. Clipper over comb is the most technical and critical technique with learning how to do these type of haircuts. Without clipper over comb, for the most part, you won't be able to create the shape you want to create. Moving on to the back line, we're going to go ahead and take our gold FX and start off at the bottom, working our way to the top arch. Just like when you're lining up the hairline, you want to make sure you go slow as possible, making sure that the hair feeds into the teeth and trimmer. Moving on to the sideburn, we're going to go ahead and start off with our no guard all the way open, creating our first guideline. We're then going to use our one guard all the way open and our half guard to begin to blend in the sideburn. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe is greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to support the channel, go ahead and leave a super thanks down below or follow the Instagram. Moving on to the bottom of the beard, we're going to go ahead and use our gold effects to make it as crispy as possible. I always ask my clients if they want to take down their mustache, and if they do, I always take it down to a one guard all the way open. I feel like that's a very perfect length where it's enough darkness, but it's short enough that it's not long enough that it bothers them. Now that we're done with the facial hair, we're gonna go ahead and pin up the hair and begin to line up his hairline. But before we line him up, we're gonna go ahead and debulk with the 1.5 guard all the way open, which is equivalent to a 2 guard closed. Now that we're done debulking the hairline, going with the grain, we could go ahead and move on to our Gold FX and start off in the middle, working our way to the sides. Again, you want to make sure you go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then the hair is going to shift and then you won't line them up properly. Now we're going to go ahead and connect this side to the right side. You want to keep the corners and vertical bars as natural as possible. You want to make sure you don't go too deep in and also cut them too short. Now that we're done lining them up, we can move on to our Turkish razor and Derber premium blades and make them as crispy as possible. Before you use your razor, you always want to make sure you apply some shave gel so that the razor could glide better. Also, you want to keep the razor at a 45-degree angle and stretch the skin as much as possible with your opposite hand. This lowers the likelihood of you cutting someone. Before we use our clipper over comb method, we're going to debulk with our 4 guard all the way open. Here I'm using my clipper over comb method to debulk and also smoothing out the edges. Now that we're done smoothing everything out with our clipper over comb method, we can move on to our Gold FX and create our first guideline. We're then going to use our foil shavers to bald him out and remove the stubble. Before we blend the taper, we're going to go ahead and line up the side of the ear, starting off at the bottom and working our way to the top arch using our Gold FX. Make sure to go slow enough that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then the hair is going to shift and then you won't line them up properly. Now that we're done lining everything up, we can move back to the taper and use our no guard all the way open to create our second guideline. Now that we're done using our no guard all the way open, we're going to switch over to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. When you're in the taper area, since it's a small area, you want to make sure you use the corners of the blade. Now that we're done using our one guard all the way open, we can move on to our half guard and erase the line completely. Make sure to use your corners. Using our 3 guard all the way open to debulk is going to help us blend into the top. Now I'm using my 4 guard all the way open and I'm flicking out as much as possible. I'm going back to my 1.5 guard to use the corners to soften up the middle line. I'm also going to use my 1 guard all the way open and my half guard to detail. Here I'm using my thinning shears with my comb and I'm making sure I thin out the thick parts of the hair. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show some extra support, go ahead and leave a super thanks down below or follow the Instagram. Now we're gonna head back to our 1.5 guard and detail the side. Now that our taper is blurry as hell, we can move on to our shear work on top and create our first guideline through the top of the capitus and work our way to the sides. Always make sure that the hair is nice and saturated so you can get its true length. Now that we're done with the shear work, we can move on to our Turkish razor or Derby premium blades and make them as crispy as possible.